Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Distraction. Thank you for coming back if you've seen any of the episodes or all the episodes. So exactly 1 month since I started the podcast, and I think that's absolutely class. More for me, that sounds really stupid and braggy, but I'm really glad I got 4 weeks in a row. I've never done that before. So thank you for coming back. One of the first things I want to sort of discuss, which is a bit strange, not many people might really care about, is that I currently record on I don't want to mess it up too much, on a Zoom handy recorder H1N that one of my friends recommended to me a while ago now. I think it was when I was in foundation year, so a couple of years ago now. And it was it's meant for people who go out and when they're filming short films or even real films, I don't know, they get it small clippets of noises. So they might, if they want some bird chirps in, they'll go birds chirping, and they'll go and record that, or if they want just a little conversation with someone, maybe if you're a reporter, a couple minutes. I don't think it's meant for podcasting, but I use it for podcasting. It actually holds up really well. It very rarely fails on me, which the laptop does all the fucking time. That sounds annoying, but I basically just recorded 4 podcasts and then it crashed and deleted everything, so that's why I'm a little bit upset. But this is going to be even better because now I can say everything I forgot to say in the other one. And I wasn't using the microphone that time. I was going to try and sneakily just use the laptop, but I am using the microphone because it never fucking fails on me. So Zoom, if you're out there, thank you. But most people probably won't care about that. But basically, I've put loads and loads of research recently into new microphones and new Zoom recorders. So hopefully when I'm out of this, when I get more people on the podcast and doing different things, that I can have a much better setup, and it will just be much better sound. So that's something to look forward to if you do enjoy the podcast and things I talk about. Sorry for that awfully long, disgusting intro, but today on the podcast I'm going to talk through 3 things, as always. I'm going to go through some stories from the week. I'm going to go through a few recommendations from books, TV shows, films, and then the big topic of this week, because I've been in isolation and nothing is happening, is I'm going to go through the hidden gems of some streaming services that I watch. Yeah, so I think I'm going to go through Prime and NowTV. I didn't go through Netflix, because Netflix is really hard to get deep into, if you know what I mean. Everything is sort of shown to you. So the way I've described hidden gems is if it's not on any full list at the beginning, you have to go through all films and find these sort of films. So hope you like some of that towards the end. I'll link or write the name of everything I talk about in the description, because I know when I listen to a podcast and hear something cool, I always forget it by the end. So I'll be sure to do that. But I'm going to jump straight into it because this is a 3-minute intro. But thank you for being back. I really enjoy doing it. It's weird because all the podcasts I listen to are normally people sitting down and talking through things really slowly and going in depth. And I always seem to have bullet points and I go through them. I don't know if people like that because I'm always sat down in my room being I should go through this, because I really enjoy doing it. And hopefully when I get people on, we can sit down and go through things much slower and much more detail. But as it's only me and not much is happening, and one of the main things that I think people don't really know what to do with during isolation is what to distract themselves. That's clever, that's the title. Distract themselves with, whereas I do it quite a lot, so I thought I'd be a good person to sort of share some things. But this is the first thing I'm going to talk about is stories from the week. So if you're new around here, basically I try and pick a few different cool things that's happened through the week, mainly on the internet, or that happened to me. If I have any funny stories to tell, I'll tell them, or just some cool stories. I'll be like, hey, this happened. So this week, I turned 21. Thank you, everybody. Woo! I had a cake I was going to bring out and eat and be like, haha. But A, I would have just eaten it for the rest of the podcast. It would have been disgusting ASMR. And B, I've already eaten it because it was gorgeous. My mum made it, so shout out to Louise. But yeah, so I turned 21, bit of an experience. Probably not many people, I'm saying that, probably loads of fucking people will obviously experience a birthday in isolation. But obviously 21's quite a big one. And I was a bit upset, but then it was really, really different experience to what I've ever had before and probably will ever have again. And that included when friends and family were dropping off presents. A, they just had to have sent them through and be like, hope this gets to you okay. B, my friend Joel got something really cool I'll talk about, but he's had to keep it until we can see each other again. all they'll do, they come and knock on the door, and it's just like the postman, they'll leave it at the door and they go and stand at the other end of the garden. So I've had so many conversations with friends and family just from the other side of the garden, being like, oh my god, thank you, and you have like a little chat, but you're really hyper aware that all your neighbours are probably sat listening to it because everyone's fucking nosy on this street. Don't want to say it too loudly. Um, so it's sort of a bit weird, like you can't really talk. It's like having a conversation on Facebook comments, if that makes sense. I actually really, really like that, which is quite funny. Um, but yeah, so that's been really interesting. The other thing was when we sung Happy Birthday for my cake, um, we had all of my family on FaceTime. So from London, from Stockton to everywhere, we had like iPads, iPhones, iPod touches with people on FaceTiming. And I had like, it was really like Black Mirror moment of all my family holding all these devices of people singing Happy Birthday to me. But that was really, really cute. Really, really enjoyed it. Strange and different. But yeah, and obviously the most important thing that I can talk about is what I got because everyone only cares about presents unless I do. So the first thing is I got a new pair of sick Crocs. I'm not going to show you them because I want to see I want all my friends to see. I want to see all my friends' reactions to them the first time I wear them. But I got an absolutely sick pair of Crocs. Not everyone hates on Crocs, and I don't really understand why because I think they're absolutely fantastic. Really, really comfy. I think I said this before, so I'll try and rethingy. So basically, I got my first. Well, I've had Crocs all my life, but I got my first pair of like adult Crocs that I bought myself. It was in foundation year, and all of my friends in my flat used to go out and they used to go and smoke, and I used to always go with them, not to smoke. I used to always go with them because that was weird. But I was thinking that if my mum watched this, which she definitely won't. So I used to go with them, but I could never used to be asked to put shoes on. So I invested in my first pair of Crocs, and they were fucking amazing. Still got them. But something happened between first year and no foundation year, then first year, where I must have left them in Stockton because I didn't have them mostly that I can remember for like the foundation, first year house. Um, and then I've come home during isolation. I've been wearing them like all the time because they're just absolutely class and really comfortable. So I got a new pair for my birthday, so I'm really, really excited about them. Everyone should go and buy a pair of Crocs. If they go under, I will cry. I think there was a talk of them going under at one point, and I almost went out and bought like 6 pairs of Crocs in like one size above, just in case I ever had feet like my feet grow. Um, then the other cool thing I wanted to chat about was what Joel got me, which he's had to keep at his house, and that is I hate my hair so much. Um, Look at that, it doesn't even go down. It's so bad. Um, he got me a sea kayak. So if you're into any of that sort of stuff, hopefully when summer rolls around, me and him, he's got a paddleboard he got for his birthday. So he got me a sea kayak for mine. So hopefully we'll be going out making some videos and doing some stuff in the lakes. If anyone likes that sort of stuff, that'll probably be up on GoPrandle during summer. But I'm really, really excited about it because I love going out on the lakes. And I've only done it only. I mean, I've canoed quite a few times, kayaked a few times, and been on like a big paddleboard for like 6 people a few times, which is absolutely class if you ever get the chance. It's in Keswick, and you get like 5 people, one, two, two, one, five, six. Try to remember how many people we had. We had five, yeah. We had like one, two, one, one, um, sort of thing. And basically, it's a massive paddleboard, and you all paddle and you go out and across on the Durham water. But it's so so funny. You can push people off and blah blah blah. You'll see it in all my videos if you look and go Prandle from like weekends away and stuff and camp. But so fun. So I'm really excited to be able to do that in summer. But that was my 21st. Um, the other thing that happened this week is another episode of Some Good News, which I did recommend last week. And I think I've already sent this to like one of my friends. I thought they'd like the bit at the end because the bit at the end is really really cool in this one. If you like musicals, teasing it. So go and watch that. I again cried at this episode because there's so much cool, lovely stuff that happens in every single one of them. It's hosted by John Krasinski. There you go. Hosted by him. He does an episode every week. This is only episode 2, but they are so good. So go and show them some love, subscribe, and watch them because I want them to continue forever because they are so fun. Oh, I always burp. I apologise for all the burping. I never burp in real life, but as soon as it comes to this, I'm like, oh, and then the other thing I was going to talk about, which is really strange and probably, what's the word? And really like focused on one type of people, but National Geographic and Element, who do skateboarding apparel and skateboards, I don't know, They came together and they've made like a fashion range, and I've got a t-shirt, and like they've done t-shirts, skateboards, jackets, jumpers, hats, all that sort of thing. So if you're into either of them, like that's out, and I think that's really really cool. Because obviously I got back really at National Geographic and I got Disney Plus. As I said last week, loads and loads of cool shit is on Disney Plus at the minute. So definitely go and give them a watch. Give them a watch. Go and give them a buy if you like anything like that. I got a t-shirt for my birthday. It's absolutely sick. Um, but yeah, I just thought that was quite cool if anyone's interested in that. But recommendations. Obviously, I'm doing a big stint on like hidden gems, which is basically just a whole load of recommendations at the end. But I'm gonna go through a few recommendations of books and podcasts and things just now quickly that I thought some people might like. I went back to like book and a book, pen and paper instead of just reading it off my laptop to see how it feels. I don't know if it will like make too much noise and piss people off. But if it does, I don't know, dislike the video and then I'll know because nobody ever likes to comment. But I've got four things to recommend this week. I'll shoot through them. First one is a book called Ayoade on Top. It's written by Richard Ayoade, who's famous from IT Crowd, and he directed Submarine. And basically, this is a book. So you know there's films like Lord of the Rings, Goes on a Space Odyssey, and people write books about them, of all their artistic intentions and what they've done for their cinematic landscape, and like they go really serious about it and look at all the characters and actions and exactly what it's about. Well, basically, Richard Ayoade has done this, but for a rom-com from 2003. It's a Gwyneth Paltrow rom-com, but I think Gwyneth Paltrow's a twat, but that's up to you. But it's a rom-com called A View from the Top, which is about a girl who's a flight attendant in Texas. And then it's basically about her trying to live her dream of becoming a flight attendant for like the big companies, like out west in LA sort of thing. And it's just a basic rom-com with her getting a boyfriend. Does she go to work? Does she stay with the boy? But basically he's written a book about whether, like, imagine if that was a 5-star Kubrick phenomenon. And he goes through like every scene, every shot, and says like what the artistic intention is behind it, which it definitely isn't, because this film definitely had very little artistic intention. No offense to the director, but it wasn't a good film at all. But even if you don't like film, it's also very much almost a bit of a biography of Richard Ayoade. He puts lots of his own life in there and all his own, like, he jokes a lot and he says all different stories from his childhood. So it's just a really really funny book, and like everything else on this list, just to make you feel a bit better during isolation, I'd definitely recommend it. It's like a tenner on Amazon. So it's absolutely fantastic. Would definitely recommend. I'm getting out of breath because I'm getting so excited again. One thing actually I will randomly recommend is Russell Brand did a recent podcast, and he did like a live stream which is up on his YouTube channel. It's just Russell Brand, and he went through like breathing techniques for people with anxiety or anxieties about what's going on, or people who just need to like connect more with themselves. Because something I've realised for a long time personally is lots of times when I get anxious or I make stupid decisions, which has happened a lot if you know me in person. Lol, sorry. A lot of decisions I make, I've realised that through like his podcast and also like delving into it, sometimes when you're anxious and you have really shallow breathing, not enough oxygen gets to your head, so that could lead to you really not thinking straight, or doing something like that. Sorry, I heard someone walking, it distracted me. So like you're not really thinking straight, you don't have enough oxygen, and it just puts you in like a really bad mind space. So these are like different breathing techniques to try and get you out of that, or to try and like connect with yourself. And like if you do any I've started meditating, I've done meditating for a while. That was nothing, wasn't it? Meditating. If you do meditation at all, I think it really helps, and it just makes me feel very very calm afterwards. So hopefully that works for any of you. That's just a weird tangent to go off on there, but it's weird, like when you finish normally you feel just peaceful because you've had so much oxygen and all the dopamine is being leaked back into your body. You just feel much more calm about everything. You're like, right, everything's fine. Everything I'm stressing about, like, oh, is this person talking about me, or oh, did I do that wrong, should I have posted that picture, should I have done that, none of it matters, and you're like, but yeah, random interlude, but definitely go and check that out if you suffer from anxiety or you're anxious about the world at large, because it really really helped me, so I hope it helps you too. There you go, that's a little snippet I didn't mention in the first one, so you're all fucking lucky it failed. It's God's plan, isn't it? If you believe in God. I don't know, not getting into that. Christ, that's a whole podcast by itself. I'll have to try and get different people on that. Will be absolutely class. But the next other recommendation I've got is if anyone's ever seen Scrubs, I'd recommend Scrubs. It's absolutely fantastic, brilliant TV show from the early 2000s. Really, really funny. Even going back and watching it. But the two main stars of Scrubs, Zach Braff, and I think it's Donald Gleason, but I'm not sure that's his name, but I think it is. And that's like, unless that's a joke that they call him in the podcast, that's like another celebrity. But they're the two main stars of Scrubs, and they've recently started a podcast called Fake Doctors But Real Best Friends, and they every week go through an episode, and talk about like the episode of all the different backstories of Scrubs, of what happened on the episode, the different techniques they used to film certain shots if it's a bit strange, and just anything funny that happened that week. So I definitely recommend watching it if you've seen Scrubs. I'd also recommend just watching Scrubs by itself. Yeah, I'd recommend getting the DVDs because they're the most, when they've come onto streaming services and things like that, they've had to like take out music and change things and edit things. But the DVDs are 100% how it was when it came out. So I definitely recommend those. But I'm not sure there are anything, so you might have to buy them. I don't know. But yeah, that's 100% a recommendation, apart from season 9, but you'll figure that out for yourself. And then finally for this, there's a short film I wanted to recommend, obviously, because little indie student Zach here with media. It's called Rebooted, and it's a story. It's 12 minutes long, and it's really funny, and it's half animation, half life. That might not make sense, but it's about how old school anime. It's about old school film techniques, fighting the I should have thought about this before I said it. It's about fighting the new ways of rebooting old classic films and TV shows, but now with green screen and CGI rather than using classic techniques. So this is classic techniques of animation, such as stop motion, hand drawn animation, animatronics, and like the old rubber suits you used to get in shitty comic book films, like the ones in Ninja Turtle films from like 1999 and the 2001 Fantastic Four film that like nobody knows about. They use like these horrible rubber suits, and it's basically all of these aspects of filmmaking attacking the new form of filmmaking. And that sounds really weird and vague, and you won't understand it until you watch it, but definitely go and give it a watch because it's absolutely fantastic. Rebooted, it's only 12 minutes long. I've not watched anything by the people that made it, but it won loads of awards at little film festivals or big film festivals. Don't make put them down. So I definitely recommend that. It's so cool. And yeah, that's it for all just the normal recommendations. So now I'm going to go on to the big topic of hidden gems of streaming services. Last time, this is why I paused it, so I could have a bit of a breather, and then start again. And then I paused it and everything crashed, so I'm not going to pause it today. Yeah. Sorry for all the noise. I like moving around. That's why I'm stood up. It sort of made me feel like this isn't really a podcast, but like just a weekly show because I'm stood up and like saying things to you. If I had things pop up, it would definitely be a weekly show, but it's not. I thought, well, it might be. But the first ones are going to be from Prime, and these two aren't really hidden gems. I've already lied to you. So the first one is Blinded by the Light, which is a film about a boy. I think it's in the 1980s, and he discovers. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. He discovers Bruce Springsteen's music. Sorry, he discovers music by Bruce Springsteen, and it's basically his journey of experiencing the music for the first time and what that music makes him feel, what it makes him want to create, and it's about him at school. It's just a really, really heartwarming film, and I watched it in cinema by myself. I think it was like last year. It really reminds me of my friend Barney. I think it's like him with his pop punk. So if you know Barney and pop punk, you'll know how this sort of goes. But it's absolutely fantastic. Really, really enjoyed it. Also, only film. This is really weird that I picked up on it. It's the only film to ever have. You know when you go to the cinema and you watch a film, it pops up at the beginning. It has the name and it has like the rating next to it. So it'll be like 18, Blinded by the Light. This is the only film I've ever seen that has the Irish Film Association tag. Normally it's the B. Is it the BFFC? The British film classification system, whatever it is. It's always like the British one. I've always seen that for every film. It's the first film in cinema I've ever seen with another countries. This is the Irish one, and I was like, interesting. Never really knew that. So I thought that was really cool. Don't know if people do. So I assume it was filmed in Ireland, even though I think everyone has like English accents and things like that. But second one on Prime that I'd recommend is Late Night. I'm not sure if I've recommended this before, but it's got Mindy Kaling and Emma Thompson, and it's the idea that Emma Thompson is a late night host, but she's getting a bit old, and they want to replace her with someone newer, younger, even a man. I can't remember why exactly. And it's the story of Mindy Kaling coming along because they needed more females like writers for jokes. It's all men. It's very much that aesthetic that is a very male dominated industry, so they want to get more women into it. So Mindy Kaling comes in, but it's really heartwarming. Really, really interesting film. Absolutely fantastic. I watched it ages ago, but I haven't seen it advertised ever since because there's a very similar one on Apple TV with like Steve Carell and Jennifer Aniston, I think. But this one, it felt like a really long time, but it was also like really, really enjoyable, and you wanted to be there for as long as you could. So I don't know if that makes sense, but it was absolutely amazing film. So that's Late Night on Amazon Prime. And they're the only two for Prime I have, but the other one's Now TV, which I have on my phone. Now TV has a really cool function where oh, one of my friends just posted one of the disposables that I took, which I talked about in episode 2. If you haven't seen that, go back to episode 2. But basically, Now TV has a fantastic function, which is instead of just going like with Netflix and stuff, they have like films you might like, horror films, blah blah blah. But Now TV has every film, so like this is every film we've got. If you want to go and watch one of them, this is one. So I try to pick out some hidden gems that I couldn't see on any of the other lists that I've watched before, and I thought were really really class. So the first one is Evolution from 2001, and I watched this with Josh, and it was one of the most stupid, mind fucking brilliant films ever. It's got 2.5 stars on their rating system, and I'll just read out the description. Natural selection gets an extraterrestrial push from Ghostbusters director when space bugs crash to Earth and start evolving at an alarming rate. I'm not even going to tell you any more than that. That's the basic premise of the film, but it's just really funny, quite dumb. There's a bit of like a Mars Attacks aesthetic, like it's like a horror film, like world-ending film, but then you also have the aspect that it's really funny and the people who are trying to save it are just completely incompetent. But I definitely recommend Evolution. It's so funny. When I watched it the first time, I was like, God damn it, absolutely fuck's sake. The next one, which only has a 1 star review, but I remember absolutely loving this film when I was a kid. It came out in 1991, and we used to have the VHS of it. Me and my sister used to watch it all the time. It's called King Ralph, and it's a big-hearted comedy starring John Goodman. He's like a Las Vegas entertainer. Um, and I'm not going to read the description. Basically, he's like a big entertainer. I'm not sure if he owns a hotel or something in Las Vegas. And then all the royal family die in England. Um, and they have to find the next heir. And it turns out that somehow, somewhere down the line, he is the next heir to England because like everybody dies in the British royal family. And it's just about him having to become heir and like what he does with the palace, how he goes about his duties. It's a light-hearted comedy from like the early 90s, but I remember specifically he puts a bowling alley in the palace, and I thought that was absolutely fantastic, especially as a kid. I thought it was so funny. But if you want just a light-hearted comedy, King Ralph is absolutely fantastic. Burning, this one I'm not going to say a lot about. So if you've just seen Parasite and you're a bit in the mood for like Korean TV, and you've watched like Okja, Parasite, and you sort of like that's where I'm at on like really really amateur level. So this is Burning. It was recommended to me, not like personally, but I heard about it on YouTube from a guy called Karsten Runquist. And it's a Palme d'Or winner. Oh, it's Palme d'Or winner, which is like the most coveted award from the Cannes Film Festival, and it's a Korean mystery thriller following a man whose life takes a complimented turn when he bumps into a childhood friend. It's about 2 hours and a half. I think it's like 2.5 hours. It feels long, but again, like Late Night, it's like Parasite as well. Like Parasite is such a long film, but you just feel in it, and it's so good. I couldn't recommend it more. Burning, that's it. That's what it's called. Burning. This one's called. And I really really enjoyed it. But it is a film you have to sit down and watch. Like I'm not describing these films well at all, but yeah, like I don't want to say too much about it because it was such a good film, and it's like Parasite where if you say something, it could spoil it. So watch Burning. It looks absolutely fantastic. Next one is Sorry to Bother You, and this is very similar to Evolution, but much better. And I'm not sure if it's less of a comedy and more is it like a dramedy? Dramedy? Sorry to Bother You, and the description is just dark comedy. And it's this guy who's a telemarketer whose career takes a sinister, and bizarre turn after he finds a huge success finding his white voice. So basically, it's a guy who's a telemarketer, and he finds out on the phone that if he speaks with a white accent, he sells much more. But then the film just takes a twist and goes batshit crazy. Like I can't even describe the way that it goes. Like I couldn't say anything that would spoil it because you'd still be like, hmm. Like when I watched it again, my friend Josh recommended it, and I came out of it and I was like, I just watched that and I still don't really understand what happened, but I am very happy because that was amazing, and that's the only way I can describe it. It's absolutely fantastic. Sorry to bother you. It was like I did, and they made a bit of a fuss of it a few months ago, but then they just didn't anymore. Ooh. Um, but yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Maybe I should be showing like the posters of the films. So I've got like all the posters on my phone, because I've just like going through them. But the next one is, I don't know if this is a hidden gem because I rented it on Prime a while ago and I didn't even realise it got put on Now TV. But it's eighth grade, and it's like a coming of age film, but a coming of age film for right now for kids that I feel like are in secondary school and have grown up with technology and what problems that has created. It's directed by Bo Burnham, and I think he does an absolutely amazing job with it. And I really, even though like I didn't really grow up in this era, like I grew up towards the end of it, I suppose. But I just thought it was like a coming of age film, like how people in the 80s have Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Obviously, that's not what everyone experienced, but it's like what you imagine to experience. This is a bit more lifelike, but it's what I feel like kids in secondary school now will look back on and be like, that was a perfect example of my time at like high school, secondary school. A bit like Booksmart, like they came out around the same time. I think they're very, very similar topics that they were discussing. But yeah, definitely recommend it. Absolutely fantastic film. I talked about this one week, and it's a film that scared me to my very core as a child. And then I was on FaceTime with my friend a few weeks ago, and she hadn't seen it because she really likes Wizard of Oz. It's Return to Oz. It's the sequel, and I talked about it because I talked about it with one of my friends. I think it was Barney. I'm not sure he'd seen it either. And basically, the villains in it, I went on this whole tangent about how easy it would be to kill the villains now. But at the time, as a child watching it, they were like the scariest thing in the world. Like they were just so scary. Um, and when you go back and watch it now, you realise you're an idiot, but you're still scared. But it's a sequel to The Wizard of Oz. If I hadn't said that, it's Return to Oz. Came out in the 1980s, but apparently loads of people didn't like really know about it. But definitely go and watch it because it's really fucking scary. I don't think it's any of the original cast. But it's hidden gem. Go and watch it. I have one more, but I don't know how much I actually recommend. No, I did enjoy it. So it's Welcome to Marwen. If you can see that, it's with Steve Carell. And basically, he is a man who's just living his life, absolutely ordinary dude, and then he gets jumped, and he gets like his head kicked in, and he gets a bit of like a brain injury. And the film is that he puts his life into. He's a photographer, so he puts his life into like Barbie and Action Man dolls, and he creates this whole world of Marwen. Welcome to Marwen. And he takes pictures and creates a whole story through these dolls. He takes them everywhere with him, and the film is about him confronting the people that beat him up, and him having to go. Will he go to court? Because he's quite a very nervous man. Obviously, he's really scared. He's been regressed quite drastically because of his brain injury. But it's absolutely fantastic film. I don't really know how to describe it that well. But yeah, like basically it's him, and he lives his life photographing these figurines, and then it's about, obviously he has love in his life, he has friends, and he has to tackle the beast that is the men that beat him up. But it's absolutely amazing film. Really, really recommend it. I really enjoyed it. More of a one-time watch. Can't imagine myself going back and watching it, but I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And I think lots of you will too. Now, I was going to sit up there, but no, I'll be completely cut off. So the last thing I wanted to mention, which is really strange because I could probably do a whole podcast on it, is Harry Potter. Famously between me and Barney, I wasn't a fan of Harry Potter. My sister absolutely loves them. She's read all the books. I've read a few of the books, and but I haven't seen the films properly since. Burping again. I haven't seen the films properly in ever. Like I've constantly watched at least the first three on ITV2 every fucking Sunday when they used to be on, but I've never really sat down and watched them all in order and really taken care of what the films actually look like, what the films are about, and the full storyline behind them. So I've always been like, Harry Potter's so overrated. But this week, because it's my 21st, we were meant to be going down to London, me and my family. We were meant to be going on the Harry Potter studios, because we couldn't anymore. I was like, right, I'm going to sit down and watch these films properly now. So now I have like a new lease of life, which everyone has had for like a decade because everyone loves these films. But I'm like, these films are fantastic. And if for some reason you were like me and you didn't really like them. I just thought it was absolutely amazing the amount of different genres that these films fit into that people don't realize. And people, some people I've talked to, I used to agree with, like, they're all the same. It's all shit, just one storyline. And I know, like, I watch fucking Marvel, which is exactly the same. But, like, again with Marvel, like the way Captain America Winter Soldier, is a spy film as well as a comic book hero film. Like I've got a list of like what the Harry Potter films are. So it's like the first two, yeah, fair enough. The kids films, the kids adventure films with witches and wizards. Can't get past that. But the third one, which I think is the best Harry Potter, it's a time traveling film, and one of my favorite genres is time traveling. And this could genuinely, I'm gonna like do a whole podcast on time traveling films because this is scores pretty high up. Prisoner of Azkaban, like it's a time travel heist. That's what it is. Similar to Back to the Future or Hot Tub Time Machine. I don't know. There's probably much better examples out there. The fourth one, I really struggle to define it, but it's like it's a challenge film. It's like films about people that like run Fat Boy Run. At the beginning, you wanna. This is really a bad example, but it's like he wants to run a marathon by the end of it, and that's what this film is. Him completing the Triwizard Tournament. It's very similar to. I can easily just point it to the first Hunger Games. There's a set of games you have to win, and it's about your character getting all the way through, and horrible things happen to them, but they do win at the end. But then I wanted to use Hunger Games 2 to compare to the fifth one, which I think is the Order of the Phoenix is the best Harry Potter film. No, sorry, second best Harry Potter film after Prisoner of Azkaban. And the way I describe this one, it's like the fun start to war. It's about catching fire, where it's the beginning of a war and they're setting up for the big gritty fight afterwards. And I absolutely love it with like, who is it, Umbridge, when she comes in. It's absolutely amazing. Like, it's them gearing up for war and preparing. It's like a bit like Percy Jackson, like they're gearing up to fight their big fight even though they're only teenagers. I know these, it's like, but like these all sound stupid, but it's all mini genres in the same set. It's like Half-Blood Prince is a coming of age film, which is really stupid because I've talked about coming of age films with 8th Grade and Ferris Bueller, but number 6 is a coming of age film. Like, that's what it is. I'm not really going to talk about the last two because I haven't rewatched them yet. I'm only up to episode 6. But then they all obviously have this big underlying factor of like, he's Harry Potter, they're trying to defeat Voldemort. Shit. But yeah, I just have a new lease of life on Harry Potter films. I think they're absolutely class, and we should go. Now's a perfect time to go and rewatch them. Similar to like rewatching Lord of the Rings or Back to the Future, like big box sets. Shit, maybe Fast and Furious. I still need to rewatch all of them after watching a few months ago. But go and rewatch these films. Are absolutely amazing. And that's sort of where I'm going to end it this week. That's my final recommendation, is all the Harry Potter films. But thank you for coming along. I really hope you're seeing the video. I'm about to hit stop recording. So if not, you'll have seen just distraction all the way through. So sorry about that. But thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I love making these podcasts. I think this second run went so well. And I like getting a bit deeper, and hopefully in the coming months I can start to add people on, get some better recruitment, make it sound better, and get the conversations flowing. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you stop by next week. Thank you.